Well, hello everyone. My name is Zachary O'Shea, and this is Box of Teeth. It's also Friday, and I want to share something a little bit different with you today, which is a horror role-playing game project I've been working on that I'm getting closer and closer to finishing that's not Dungeons and Dragons. Let me tell you a little bit about Red Rock's Shadow. The war between the Focal Nations and the Pact never ends, nor does the labyrinth of trenches that it's fought in. The network of bunkers, entrenchments, foxholes, and pits sprawl around the stretches of fallow no man's land, hollowed villages, and pastures of Kruer. These crystals of petrified blood and diesel sprout from the earth, fed by the spilled blood of countless soldiers and oozing hulks of destroyed war machines. No one really recalls what started the war, but everyone knows Kruer is the fuel that keeps it going. Kruer-given prosthetics get maimed soldiers back into the fight within days. Kruer-forged weapons send them back to the butcher's block hospitals even faster. Kruer-fertilized food fills their bellies and befouls their remaining organs. Kruer-laced shells split from ever-screaming cannons. Kruer-burning gyros spray lead at one another across the smoky skies. Kruer-fed tanks roll over the trenches unending. Above all the carnage, command floats aboard rot-sagged zeppelins. From these lofty heights, they dispassionately plan massacres for a few mere inches of advancement below. That is, when the generals and their sycophants aren't languishing in drug-induced stupors or participating in blasphemous rituals to prolong their vile lives. Under the shadows of red rocks, the soldiers listen to missives from the home front borne on ghostly whispers, smoke cigarettes rolled by foreign slaves, and drink booze distilled in gore-smeared engines. They wait for the next whistle to send them over the top and into razor wire. They wonder if they'll end up back in a butcher's tent with another part of their soul and body replaced. They pine for death, because surely hell is better than this. That is, save the few who tire of this widening gyre. Criminals all, these deserters believe the war can actually be stopped. They realize command is just as afraid of winning as they are of losing. They know that the battlefield is a prison from which they must escape. They sense that something inhuman, something ravenous is behind it all. The only way to be free is to find the heart of the eternal trenches and destroy it. Red Rock Shadow is an action horror role-playing game about war, desertion, and redemption. It's loosely based on the Great War from 1914 to 1918 in a pastiche of Europe from that era. This game is spiced with themes and moods from Software's Dark Souls and Bloodborne games. This game is meant to be fast-paced, cinematic, with just enough mystery and horror to leave a long impression. Players take on the role of deserters, soldiers that have realized that there is something very wrong and downright supernatural about the war. They have a unique connection to the strange substance fueling the war, known as Kruer. This connection allows them to mow down foes, ranging from common soldiers to mutated animals to demons and beyond. Deserters usually seek a way out of the eternal trenches or to destroy them altogether. They form a squad whose camaraderie can see them through the most difficult situations. There is an Ashcan version of Red Rock Shadow that's available on itch, as well as TTRPG. It's using the Lumen system. Since then, I've moved on to something I've been working on that's more homebrew and taking different pieces from other systems that I love and putting them all together. But the world is basically the same, and I want to share it with all of you. I've been playtesting this since this time last year with some really good friends who have been giving strong feedback for me as I hammer through things, and we're getting into a really good state. So, I just figured this might be something different, and every Friday I'll be sharing different aspects of the world with all of you. Of course, if you are interested in my Dungeons & Dragons work, which are all horror-themed monsters, and there's hundreds of them for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, that are all perfectly free, you can go to boxofteeth.blogspot.com. If you're more interested in the non-Dungeons & Dragons horror role-playing projects that I have, like Red Rock Shadow, or the horror fiction that I write, like Grease Paint right here, you can always go to www.zacharyoshea.com. Thank you for your time and your attention, and have a great weekend.